Lions, 49ers, get your popcorn ready. Why? Because the Lions are in the NFC Championship game. That's why. This is Sports Guy talking that you guys are watching and listening to. I am Dustin Tran, your host, as I am here today to talk about the NFC Championship game between the Detroit Lions and the San Francisco 49ers. The Lions have advanced to the NFC Championship game for the first time since the 1991 NFL season, while the 49ers are going to the NFC Championship game for the fourth time in the last 5 seasons. These two teams have done a great job winning the games that they were supposed to win, as the winner of this game will end up advancing to Super Bowl 58. Before I say anything else though, I want to present you guys with a topic question. So here it is. Who's winning the NFC Championship game? Lions or 49ers? And this prediction is going to be a lot easier than what people are probably expecting, because I got the San Francisco 49ers winning this ball game. Not only do I have the 49ers winning this ball game, I got this game being a blowout. Remember, dome teams have never won a road championship game. The Detroit Lions are a dome team, and they are playing on the road. Also, when you look at this Detroit Lions team, they don't match up well against the San Francisco 49ers. What is Jared Goff's biggest weakness? Well, his biggest weakness is that he struggles to make the right reads when he is under pressure. What do the 49ers do better than any other team in the National Football League? Getting pressure on opposing quarterbacks. If Jared Goff gets pressured against the San Francisco 49ers front four, this is going to be the ball game for the Detroit Lions, because that's when Jared Goff is going to start making mistakes. And don't get me wrong, Jared Goff has had a phenomenal year for the Detroit Lions. I've been really proud of what he has been able to do for that franchise and how he was able to turn around the culture of the Detroit Lions. But when you talk about Jared Goff under pressure, he is a completely different player, because as great as Jared Goff has been for the Detroit Lions this year, a big reason why he has been successful is because of his offensive line. We all know that the Detroit Lions offensive line is one of the best offensive lines that you could come up with in the National Football League. You got to rave about Penei Sewell. He's had a fantastic year for the Detroit Lions. He's been an excellent left tackle for Jared Goff. He's been able to give him a lot of protection, and when Jared Goff has a lot of protection, well, he's going to make good decisions with the football. Everybody knows that Jared Goff needs a good run game and good offensive line in order for him to play really good football, and the Detroit Lions have understood that, and that's why they built a team full of elite offensive linemen and a good running game around Jared Goff. Obviously, you got to rave about the 2 running backs in Detroit. You've got David Montgomery. He's great at scoring touchdowns. You also look at the fact that they got Jahmyr Gibbs, who's been an outstanding rookie. A lot of teams usually say, why do you take running backs high in the draft? Well, ask the Detroit Lions that question, because they took a running back very high with their draft pick, but it didn't matter because Jahmyr Gibbs has been phenomenal for the Detroit Lions. But I don't think they match up well against this 49ers team, because like I've said, this 49ers team is excellent at getting to the quarterback. They're really good at getting pressure. They're really good in the secondary. When this 49ers team gets pressure on opposing quarterbacks, that's when they get turnovers and they get advantages on their opposing teams. And Jared Goff doesn't do well when you put pressure on him, because when you put pressure on Jared Goff, that's when he's going to start making bad decisions with the football. That's when he's going to start throwing interceptions. As far as the San Francisco 49ers, yeah, I know they just played a pretty bad game against the Green Bay Packers, but I'm actually not that worried about them. You look at the weapons that the 49ers have. They've got Brandon Ayuk, they've got George Kittle, they've got Christian McCaffrey, they've got Deebo Samuel. Their offensive line is really good as well. And then of course you got to rave about their quarterback Brock Purdy. I know a lot of people like to trash him and say that Brock Purdy is not a good quarterback in the NFL, but that couldn't be further from the truth. Brock Purdy is a top 10 quarterback in the NFL right now. Brock Purdy had a Pro Bowl year for the San Francisco 49ers. He played a bad game against the Packers because of bad weather. It wasn't because Brock Purdy sucked in that game. He just didn't have great arm strength, which is why he struggled in the rain. But the weather's not going to be raining for the Lions and 49ers game. The weather is going to be clear for Sunday's game, and when the weather is clear, Brock Purdy is as good as any quarterback in the National Football League. I expect him to play efficient football. He's going to get the ball to George Kittle. He's going to get the ball to Brandon Ayuk. He's going to get Christian McCaffrey the football. And then when you cover up all those guys, guess what? They're going to use their fullback Kyle Juszczyk in the receiving game, because Kyle Juszczyk is an underrated weapon for the San Francisco 49ers. I understand that they haven't had to use him a ton this year, but when they've had to use him, he's been a good football player. Obviously, you look at how the 49ers defense, they're going to get pressure on Jared Goff. Mistakes are going to be made. I expect Jared Goff to turn it over at least 2 or 3 times in this game, because Jared Goff doesn't do well when you put pressure on him, and the 49ers are going to get points off of those turnovers, which means that this game could be a runaway game for the San Francisco 49ers. I expect Christian McCaffrey to have a big game. I know that the Lions rush defense has been really good. They've done a great job holding running backs to under 70 yards, but I believe that streak is going to end come NFC Championship time, because Christian McCaffrey is not only the best running back in the National Football League, he is the best offensive player in all of football. And Christian McCaffrey might arguably be the best non-quarterback to have ever played this position in the year of 2023, because this guy can impact the game in so many different ways. He can run in between the tackles, he can run outside, he can catch the football, he can run routes like a wide receiver. Christian McCaffrey has no weaknesses whatsoever. I believe Christian McCaffrey is going to have a big game against the Detroit Lions. If they're going to slow him down running, guess what? Christian McCaffrey is going to make big plays in the passing game and expect him to score some touchdowns. I'm thinking Christian McCaffrey could score 2 or 3 touchdowns and basically be the MVP of the San Francisco 49ers for the NFC Championship game. I see this game being a runaway. I see Christian McCaffrey having a huge game. I expect Christian McCaffrey to dominate big time. I expect him to score some touchdowns on the ground. I expect Brock Purdy to be a game manager. He's going to play better than he did against the Green Bay Packers. The reason why he played bad against the Packers was because of weather, not because of his lack of ability. Brock Purdy is one of the better quarterbacks in the National Football League. As far as what Kyle Shanahan isn't telling you about Brock Purdy, he's not telling you that Brock Purdy is an upgrade over Jimmy Garoppolo. Yeah, he might not have 100% confidence in Brock Purdy, but he's saying in his mind, shoot, I took Jimmy G to a Super Bowl. Why can't I take Brock Purdy to a Super Bowl? Because everybody knows that Brock Purdy is a better quarterback than Jimmy Garoppolo, and that Brock Purdy doesn't need to do a whole lot to get the job done. He just needs to be more than Jimmy Garoppolo. As far as how many attempts Brock Purdy will be getting in the NFC Championship game, well, I can tell you he's going to get more than 8 pass attempts. Remember that championship game where Jimmy G only threw the ball 8 times against the Green Bay Packers because Raheem Mostert was running wild on that Packers defense? Yeah, I remember that performance. I don't think that's going to happen though, because Kyle Shanahan has confidence in Brock Purdy. He never had confidence in Jimmy Garoppolo. The reason why they only threw the ball 8 times in the NFC Championship game was because he wanted to keep feeding Raheem Mostert the football, and quite frankly, he just did not trust Jimmy Garoppolo to get the job done. And who can blame him? Jimmy G is a turnover machine, and he showed that in the Super Bowl that year because he threw 2 costly interceptions against the Kansas City Chiefs. So obviously they wanted to limit his impact on the game, but he doesn't have to feel like he has to handcuff Brock Purdy, because Brock Purdy is far more careful with the football than Jimmy G ever was. So I expect Brock Purdy to not get a lot of pass attempts, but he's going to get more in the ballpark of 20-30 pass attempts in the NFC Championship game. He's going to let Brock Purdy manage the game and actually let him throw the football, because he knows that Brock Purdy is less prone to mistakes compared to Jimmy Garoppolo. We all know that Jimmy Garoppolo is a liability in big games when it comes to avoiding turnovers. There's a reason why the San Francisco 49ers got rid of him. It's for moments like these. They knew that Jimmy Garoppolo was good enough to get the 49ers to the championship game, but they want to do more than that. They want to win a Super Bowl. They want to be able to get over the hump. I don't think he can necessarily do it, but I'm not here to argue that. What I'm here to argue is that Brock Purdy is supposedly an upgrade over Jimmy Garoppolo, and he certainly is. And Kyle Shanahan knows that he's an upgrade over Jimmy Garoppolo, which is why he trusts Brock Purdy the way that he never trusted Jimmy Garoppolo. I expect Brock Purdy to play a good game against this Detroit Lions defense. He's going to manage the game, and he's going to let Christian McCaffrey make the big plays for him in both the rushing and receiving game. The Detroit Lions are not a great team stopping the pass. I just think that they're going to get gashed up running the football, because Christian McCaffrey is the best running back that the Detroit Lions are going to see all year long, and he is the most impactful non-quarterback in the game today. Christian McCaffrey is going to score 2 or 3 touchdowns. He's going to be able to have a fantastic game. Defensively, I expect Nick Bosa to get pressure on Jared Goff. I expect Jared Goff to turn over the football and melt down. I think Jared Goff is a good quarterback, but against this 49ers defense, there's a reason why he has historically struggled against that type of defense. That's because he struggles against defenses that get pressure to Jared Goff, and the 49ers are the one defensive line that can impact the Detroit Lions offensive line. And if they can get pressure on Jared Goff is going to make mistakes, plain and simple. I got this game being a blowout because I think Goff is going to turn it over a bunch. I think Christian McCaffrey is going to have a high impact game. I think Brock Purdy is going to manage the game. I don't think the 49ers are going to turn over the football. I think the Detroit Lions are going to lose the turnover battle. That's going to be a huge difference in this game. That's why I got this game being a massive blowout. As far as what the score is going to be, I got the Lions scoring 14 points while I got the 49ers scoring 34 points. Maybe the Detroit Lions score a garbage time touchdown to make the game better, but overall I got this game being a blowout. So that is why the 49ers will end up dominating the Lions in the NFC Championship game by the score of 34-14, as Brock Purdy will end up going to his first Super Bowl ever as an NFL quarterback. Remember, go ahead and subscribe to Sports Guy Talking, like the video, and please comment down below. If you guys do that, I may shout you guys out in my Instagram story every Monday. That'll be for the @Dustin Tran Instagram account. Make sure to follow me on Instagram @Dustin Tran and @Sports Guy Talking. Also, go follow me on Twitter @Dustin Tran. Again, go ahead and do those things that I just told you guys to go do. Hope hopefully you guys enjoyed the content that was just produced. Peace out. I hope you enjoyed that video. Want more Sports Guy Talking, the home of great sports content? Make sure you click that subscribe button to get the latest from Sports Guy Talking. Go ahead and like the video, comment down below, check the description box on the video in order to follow my Instagram and Twitter. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from the YouTube channel, Sports Guy Talking.